It wasn't always in such transports of joy that I practiced charity, but at the beginning of my religious life, Jesus wanted to have me experience how sweet it is to him in the souls of his brides. It was at the time Sister St. Pierre was still going to the choir in the refectory. She was placed in front of me during evening prayer. At 10 minutes to 6, a sister had to get up and lead her to the refectory, for the infirmarians had too many patients and were unable to attend her. It cost me very much to offer myself for this little service, because I knew it was not easy to please Sister St. Pierre. She was suffering very much, and she did not like it when her helpers were changed. However, I did not want to lose such a beautiful opportunity for exercising charity. Each evening when I saw Sister St. Pierre shake her hourglass, I knew this meant, "Let's go." It is incredible how difficult it was for me to get up, especially at the beginning. However, I did it immediately, and then a ritual was set in motion. I had to remove and carry her little bench in a certain way. Above all, I was not to hurry, and then the walk took place. It was a question of following the poor invalid by holding her cincture. I did this with as much gentleness as possible. But if by mistake she took a false step, immediately it appeared to her that I was holding her incorrectly, and that she was about to fall. "Oh, you are going too fast. I'm going to break something." If I tried to go more slowly, "Well, come on. I don't feel your hand. You've let me go and I'm about to fall." "Ah, I was right when I said you were too young to help me." Finally, we reached the refectory without mishap, and here other difficulties arose. I had to seat Sister St. Pierre, and I had to act skillfully in order not to hurt her, and then I had to turn back her sleeves, again in a certain way, and afterward I was free to leave. However, with her poor crippled hands, she was trying to manage with her bread as well as she could. I soon noticed this, and each evening I did not leave her until I had rendered her this little service. As she had not asked for this, she was very much touched by my attention, and it was by this means that I gained her entire good graces. And this especially, I learned this later, because after cutting her bread for her, I gave her my most beautiful smile before leaving her all alone. This practice of charity, as I have said, dear mother, was not always so sweet for me, and to prove it to you, I am going to recount certain little struggles which will certainly make you smile. For a long time at evening meditation, I was placed in front of a sister who had a strange habit. As soon as the sister arrived, she began making a strange little noise which resembled the noise that one would make rubbing two shells one against the other. I was the only one to notice it because I had extremely sensitive hearing, too much so at times. Mother, it would be impossible for me to tell you how much this little noise wearied me. I had a great desire to turn my head and stare at the culprit, who was very certainly unaware of her click. This would be the only way of enlightening her. However, in the bottom of my heart, I felt it was much better to suffer this out of love for God and not to cause the sister any pain. I remained calm, therefore, and tried to unite myself to God to forget this little noise. Everything was useless. I began to perspire, and I was obliged simply to make a prayer of suffering. However, while suffering, I searched for a way of doing it without annoyance and with peace and joy, at least in the interior of my soul. I tried to love the little noise which was so displeasing. Instead of trying not to hear it, which was impossible, I paid close attention so as to hear it well, as though it were a delightful concert. And my prayer, which was not the prayer of quiet, was spent in offering this concert to Jesus. Another time, I was in the laundry doing the washing in front of a sister who was throwing dirty water into my face every time she lifted the handkerchiefs to her bench. My first reaction was to draw back and wipe my face to show this sister who was sprinkling me that she would do me a favor to be more careful. But I immediately thought I would be very foolish to refuse these treasures which were given to me so generously, and I took care not to show my struggle. I put forth all my efforts to desire receiving very much of this dirty water. and was so successful that in the end, I had really taken a liking to it, and I promised myself to return another time to this nice place where one receives so many treasures. My dear mother, you can see that I am a very little soul, and that I can offer God only very little things. It often happens that I allow these little sacrifices which give such peace to the soul slip by. But this does not discourage me, for I put up with having a little less peace, and I try to be more vigilant on another occasion.